getting ready for what could be a life behind bars in the 9th episode of Your Friends and Neighbors. What's crucial for his story moving ahead is that he's now seeing things from a fresh angle. Mel meets with Barney, who then transfers ownership of the house to Mel. In an effort to play defense and be ready for anything, Coop has handed Mel his half. Mel storms over to confront Coop about her dissatisfaction. The killer? Initially, Coop is determined to go to trial for the case because he believes he must fight for his innocence. He first resists the plea bargain, but after reviewing the facts, he comes to the realization that his innocence is irrelevant if it cannot be proven in court. In order to protect his family's financial independence, he transfers his assets to Mel's name. This way, even if he is sued, his children would not lose a dime. He goes so far as to advise Kat to arrange a meeting with the prosecution in order to negotiate a settlement. But Mel confronts Coop about it and tells him he shouldn't give up so quickly. She finds out about it through Mel. Therefore, he chooses to go with that. While he and Kat are having a conversation, he examines the evidence and notices that although they had several conversations and messages throughout their affair, her call records do not reveal his presence at all. She concealed her second phone from Paul and the police. Therefore, this must be her secret. While reporting this to the authorities, he and Kat state that they are powerless in the absence of the physical phone. Even though Kat says it's a dead end, Coop is determined to establish his innocence nevertheless, so he throws himself into it. He contacts Elena in preparation for his next break-in at Sam's house, where he plans to retrieve the phone. Elena volunteers to help out since Sam's maid is taking a break. Since Sam will be gone for a couple of hours, they will have plenty of time to search the house for the phone. Even though the phone isn't located, Elena finds a hidden drawer with a message from Paul that verifies his suicide. Sam concealed this information, allowing the police to accuse Coop and sentence him to life in jail. But why she did this? The unexpected demise of Paul Levitt has been one of the season's biggest enigmas. Upon seeing him lifeless in a pool of blood at Sam's house, Coop is left with little time to contemplate the man's possible circumstances and the identity of the assailant. He is nearly convicted of murder after the police reach the same conclusion. Still, he shifts his focus to Sam, certain that she is concealing something, if not the secret phone she used to contact him, then at least something else entirely. Although he is unable to locate the phone, he does discover the suicide note, which establishes that Paul committed suicide. Not long before he passed away, Paul had been attempting to win Sam back when he called the night before. When he shot himself, he was talking to his ex-wife over FaceTime. She normally would have dialed 911, but then she remembered that her ex-husband wasn't as good with money as she thought he was. And if his death was determined to be a suicide, she wouldn't collect the millions of dollars in insurance money that she needed so much. The only way she can provide for her children's future is with the insurance money. So she sneaks back home in the dead of night, kills Paul twice more, and makes it look like murder. Sam never meant for anyone to be falsely accused. The fact that the case was classified as a murder led her to believe that she may collect the insurance payout. Her children were first. Therefore, she chose to let things play out as they naturally occurred after Coop's arrest for the crime. However, everything is revealed when the suicide note is located. The police arrest Coop and then fire her, but they have no evidence to press charges. Since Sam Hayden claimed the insurance money, she couldn't be charged with fraud, and the note proves that Paul killed himself. Her attorney dismisses her case because she only obstructed the police investigation by concealing evidence, and instead asked her to perform community service. She will avoid going to jail thanks to this, but she will certainly become an outcast in West Village as a result of her acts, and will likely seek a fresh start somewhere. Not only does today's evidence from Sam's residence exonerate Coop, but there's more good news as well. His former boss, Bailey Russell, calls him. It would appear that customer retention has been an issue for the business ever since his dismissal. Clients no longer have faith in the firm, and this is on accounts that Coop formerly oversaw. They are now in a state of complete disarray and are hoping that Coop can win back their clients. He now knows his worth to the company and may negotiate a larger cut of the profits. Their willingness to comply with his request demonstrates their desperation to regain his presence. In a last-ditch effort to patch things up, they have Coop fly to Switzerland that very night in order to land one of their most lucrative accounts. Coop tells them he has plans for that evening, but they aren't buying his explanations. The deal seemed too good to be true right now, especially in light of his current financial situation. It appears he will return to his previous position, but he confirms he is not returning to Bailey Russell by failing to appear at the airport on the scheduled day. In addition, Coop knows that his boss's house will be deserted that night because he is flying to Switzerland. He sneaks in and takes a picture that will be sold for a good price. After getting so close to the law, one would think Coop would learn his lesson and put an end to the robberies. But it appears he's gotten rather good at it. As an act of retaliation, he plunders his boss's mansion. Even though they invited him back, it doesn't change the reality that they utterly disrupted his life and sent him on a downward spiral. He will never get over his supervisor blacklisting him and stealing all of Coop's money. He was unable to get a respectable job thereafter. He is now desperately needed, and they are pleading with him to rush to their aid. He considered taking the offer, but he knows that returning to work would mean returning to his old ways, not spending enough time with his family and being so consumed by work that he had no time for anything else. And he no longer desires that. On top of that, he has become too engrossed in stealing as a profession to abandon it. Therefore, he abandons his previous existence and eagerly anticipates his future, regardless of how illicit it may be. Mel tells Coop that she will be taking a break from Nick, even though they are broken up. At an annual fundraising dinner, when they dance together again, she thinks she should enjoy being alone for a bit and isn't ready to commit to a relationship just yet. Coop makes a comparable assertion, particularly in light of the disastrous outcome of his relationship with Sam. But getting the two back together appears to be just a matter of time. They will likely attempt to determine if they still fit together when we see them again. But now that Coop has decided to keep up his illicit pursuits, Mel's romance will be ruined once again when Coop's secret comes out.